Alright, so since all of my gameplay stuff from the last season is now done and is out, and the seasons are over, before I figured I'd do the new games and the new seasons, I figured I'd do a what's in the bag because I haven't done this in a while, and a lot of things have changed. I've basically got new everything within the last 2 years, which, well, I test gear and stuff, so it makes sense, but everything from jock to knee pads to chest protector, so everything is swapped. So we're going to take a look at all that stuff, and we'll see kind of what I'm using and kind of reviewing so far, and what you'll see coming hopefully kind of shortly. So to start off with the fun stuff that's not here. Pause. So starting with the sticks, we have 2 new sticks this year that I'm trying out. One is the Warrior V3i. So Warrior sent this to me, and I loved the M2i. It was basically my favorite stick I've ever used. This one is obviously slightly different, but with similar ideas to it. It has been absolutely fantastic, and with the coating on here, it's like been holding up a lot better to chipping than what the M2i did. So we're gonna see how that lasts overall, but that one has been so far really good, and I think we're gonna try to get a review on that before holiday, but no promises. And then the other one here, the 9X3, which is also just absolutely ridiculous. I had a lot of people talk about how bad true goalie sticks are and true sticks in general for durability. This thing has been fantastic so far. I've used this more than the V3 so far, but this thing has gotten like someone skated right across it. It's still totally fine. No chips whatsoever on it, and it's doing like a really solid job of holding up, and it's crazy light. So huge fan of this as well. Obviously we have paddle wedges on there. For backup sticks, I have a few kind of hidden in here. We have this V2 Pro. So when I do anything with like there's some training stuff I do in the summer for junior B and junior A kids, I use this stuff because why use the good sticks and break them and like from just being a puck sponge. So I use this. There's an M2 Pro in here as well, which is right here. And then there is this Hyperlight stick that was broken and repaired by Integral Hamilton. So I still have to do a review on this, and it's held up really good. This is a 26-inch stick though, and I use 25s now, so this is a little bit too big, so I don't generally use this all that much. And I have one Frankenstein awful contraption here, which is this old Premier 2 where I cut down the paddle on it to make it shorter so it plays closer to a 25. It's not quite a 25, so it's still a little bit longer, but I wanted to see if it would work. Just put duct tape on it so it wouldn't be like cutting up my blockers at all. But it does work, so this is like my ultimate backup stick that if I need something on a whim or playing something I really don't care, like if I'm playing outside, I'll bring this out there. The next part we're going to talk about is like jerseys and base layers. So we're not going to go through all these because there's a lot of player stuff here. Like this is player stuff, everything under here player stuff. But we'll talk about a few things. So just some extra gloves over here because I'm overflowing of gloves. So don't tell my producer that. So generally I keep the ones I use for the season in the bag, but just extra stuff here. And we have like parts to things, which is like obviously a broken knee pad because the shoulder piece is on a different chest protector that I'll show you. A bunch of garter belts and like insoles and stuff like that through there. And a ton of goalie accessories for all the pads, so all the extra straps I don't use sit in there as well. But these gloves basically are kind of relegated to stuff I'm not really using anymore. This glove, well, I love it, which is the Genetic 5, and the pink set, the Max On glove, is just, I like it a lot better and it matches that set better, so I end up using that one. All these are goalie jerseys, and they're just all over the place from a couple of my teams, but we'll kind of ignore that. The base layers are something that I'm like I don't know, it's a weird hobby thing of mine where I love trying new base layers. I sweat so much when I play, and I get so hot when I play, especially when I wore that brown chest. It's a little bit better now in the CCM and the Warrior, but I have a ton of base layers. I try all different types and things like that to see how I play, especially if I play back-to-backs. It just, to me, I don't want to be like just drenched in sweat. Like that Zenkai stuff, when I wore it, it just like, it soaked my equipment. It was just terrible. So I wear like some crazy things like these Nike ADV pants that are fantastic. But that's my thing here. Usually this is about that high as well. So there's 2 layers here, but those are in the wash upstairs, and usually I have a ton of more socks, but I only have 1 pair left for tonight's game. So this works as a decent segue where we have the Cortec shorts, and Cortec are excellent base layers for protecting growings and kind of helping with hips and stuff like that. So if you have a bit of a growing pull or injury, wear those, it keeps everything tight. I wore those all the time in the playoffs, so that all the games I just played, I basically wore them from like Series 2 on because of a pulled growing on there, and I played like probably 20 games after that. So if I didn't wear those, I wore the 1.0s, which are less tight than these ones. They were fantastic, and without them I wouldn't have been able to finish. So I have a link in the description to Core-Tech. You get, I think, 10% off. Link will be in the description. I'll put text over here. Check them out. They saved me a ton, and they're absolutely fantastic. And I definitely recommend people wearing them for injury prevention and stuff like that. Going over here, we have more kind of overflow. That Fusion set, well, the glove is down there as well. I don't really use that anymore just because I'm reviewing new gear, trying new things, and that's a few seasons old. But I love this glove so much and the color so much, I'm probably not ever gonna get rid of this set. And we have the jerseys for it down there. And then we have this amazing blocker. I bought this used, but it's a 1X and it's one of my favorite blockers I have. So that one comes out for playoffs every once in a while. I absolutely love this. I think it's better than my 2-piece, which is down here. And this one obviously is for that pink and blue set. This one I do still use. This one though is just like, it's kind of my, if I need a glove I really like, I kind of go back to that one. Okay. And we come over here and we see more of a mess of just equipment and overflow. So what we have here, you can see Optic 3 stuff. So I've been testing this and doing a review of this, and that's going to happen, like the review is going to happen shortly. It's going to probably take a little bit to come out because PGS still has to come out before that review does. So, and we have the Max On glove right here. I replaced the Genetic V glove with this one right here, and we have the Reason Why ball hockey one. I just did the 100 puck challenge video on this glove. It's fantastic. That one will be coming probably pretty soon after this video. And I did a test with this one as well with the puck machine. So we have that puck machine, it shoots pretty hard. Use this plastic ball hockey glove, and it held up totally fine with it. And honestly, better than some gloves I've used in the past. Everything else down here is generally player gear. We have some goalie skates that I use for all my testing stuff. So if I have to like go in the net for RVH and stuff, these are the skates I use, my old ones. They're unbelievably uncomfortable on ice, but for just like 10 minutes to doing testing, it's totally fine. Warrior G5 glove. So you saw the matching blocker earlier. There's the catching glove down there. And then we have the Russian company. We'll ignore that glove. Doesn't really get used. It's a 580 and I don't really like it that much. And then we have the awesome Kova neck guard. I have 3 of those. Well, different ones, different colors, different sizes, different designs. That's the one I wear the most. And we have, this is one of the things that I finally replaced. This was I think an X2, maybe it was a G something. I can't remember. All the things are worn off of it. But my producer bought me this like 6 years ago, I'm going to say. This thing obviously is used. It worked totally fine. The straps were a little baconed on it, as you can see, and I kind of had to really tighten them down. But this thing worked completely fine. But I decided to upgrade that, so we ended up going with the new X4 Pro Plus. I've been a huge fan of Warrior cups for a while. This is my 3rd one. They have a fantastic, they're just great. They have like the way the design is, you don't have to wear a cup underneath and everything holds in place. They're fantastic. So going up here, we have my mask, the 2 ProTech Sports I have up here. This one is the newer one. This one's my favorite just because it's slightly newer and it just fits slightly better than what the other one does. They're both custom, but this one, just something about it is just a little bit nicer, and the foams are just nicer than what the older one was, because obviously it's older and used. And then I have a coveted 2-piece combo right here, and I think I'm going to try to do something with this. I think I'm going to sell it just because it's really heavy, and I did the whole test for it just to see if the big cage thing, I kind of bought into that hype, and it doesn't really make any difference. I don't mind wearing it. It's pretty comfortable. It's just very heavy, and I kind of want to try some other masks, maybe something from like Czech Republic or Finland, I'm thinking. So if you have mask ideas, let me know. See what goes with that. But this one I think I'm going to kind of move on from and maybe get out of there. This neck guard is honestly over a decade old, cracked, taped, still works totally fine. So that's always great. Brown chest up there. I don't actually wear that in games anymore because I have one that I replaced. It's easier to use with stuff. I do that for the 100 puck challenge for consistency, so it's kind of retired a little bit. We have True glove here just because it's drying, so I let the moisture kind of come out that way. And then we have these new CCM HG, or what are these ones? HPG 12A. So these are from a CHL team. I don't know if it was OHL, W, or Q, but it's from one of those teams. And these are XLs. I normally like larges, but it works, and they're fantastic. These are my main pants, and I'll talk about that in a second why. I'm going to buy a pair of black pants soon. I have to figure out which ones I'm going to probably get. Probably going to go with Vaughn, but we'll have to see what happens there. Current chest I've been wearing all the time is this Warrior Ritual X4 Pro Plus, and it has the robot arms still, which are pretty cool. I needed something that was lighter than the brown, and we'll show another chest over there that is kind of relegated now, but hopefully beefier than that CCM NHL one. And this one was a retail one I figured I'd give a test and try out, and it's okay. We'll talk about that. It's a good retail chest. That's basically the gist of it, but we'll talk about that one in a full review. Also, hopefully coming soon. We'll see how soon. We'll wrap that down. And these are a bunch of gloves and rest of the gear that I'm kind of using. True blocker, obviously right here. This is honestly my kind of go-to set right now. If I play really good in them, and they feel fantastic. So I wear these a lot. The last JRZ custom gloves ever made. This is a custom 600 with a practice thumb, pro palm finger piece. So kind of interesting with that one. I don't use this a lot just because I have a wrist brace, which should be here somewhere, that I have to wear sometimes from tendonitis, and this glove is perfect for it. That break angle works really well for it. So if that happens again, that will probably be one of my go-to gloves. But for the time being, I'm testing too many things, so I'm kind of all over the place. My oldest piece of gear I think I'm wearing right now is this, and I rotate this in and out a lot. This is just a retail 1S, and I bought this thing when I worked at Pro Hockey Life. It was like on clearance when I bought it, and it has been fantastic. I've used it ever since. It was on the shelf. I think it was a generation old. I think 2S Pros were out when I bought this, and I've used it every year since, and it's been absolutely fantastic, and it's one of the best blockers I have, to be honest, and it's been really good. Way better than the ultrasonic blocker I had, which is kind of hilarious. And then we have a JRZ Prime. So when JRZ was out of or I should say JRZ, when JRZ was out of the goalie industry, I asked them if they had any gear left over I wanted to buy from. They had a all white one. Figured it would go good with the glove, and I love this blocker. It's basically that Bauer 2-piece. Really, it's like a Reactor 6000. So huge fan of this, and I absolutely love this one. But I don't use it all that much, but it is like one of my favorites right there. Down here we have the Warrior set. So there's the G6 blocker, 6.1 catcher, and 6 catcher. Those are there. I still have to do the puck machine test with that, but I actually really like this glove a lot more. We'll just ignore that. I actually like this glove a lot more. This is like their 60-degree-ish. The palm in here is a 75, but it doesn't feel like a 75. People say this is a 580. It doesn't really feel like it. It feels more like my 60-degree 590s than the 580s. I actually like this glove more than the 6 just because the shape, the pocket feels bigger, and just the way I can catch with it. I feel like I can catch better with this one than the 6. So that was kind of surprising. For skates, we already saw the Connect fall down. We have a Connect. Another review that I have to do and work on. This stuff is like, it's worked, but I've had issues with it durability wise for buckles, which everyone had. And I have the crazy gold Blade Tech steel on there as well, which is a huge improvement over the stock steel, which was absolutely garbage. So nice upgrade on that one. Ignore the player skates that are just drying. And we have still my true TF Customs. These things are going on to 3 seasons now. Held up perfectly, no issues anywhere whatsoever. I don't have any wood around here. Oh, hopefully that doesn't break. But these have been absolutely fantastic. They are still really comfortable. I did have to change the insoles though because I started feeling rivets a little bit. Some of the rivets are kind of popping a little bit on me. They're not rusted or anything, as you can see, but they're just like not as tight as they used to be. So I'm wearing this because it's thicker than the normal ones, and it works totally fine, and they're still really good. Going down here, this stuff is awesome. So this is capped odor, which works really well, but this stuff is replaced. This capped odor is blue. Capped odor is blue, but it's replaced just for the spray bottle with ProFresh. I have a couple huge tubs of this that I got for really cheap. So I use this all the time for all the gloves, and it really does work and helps keep the smell down. Also helps when you rotate gloves as much as I do, but it does definitely help keep the smell down. Then we have the Hyperlight 2 set, which again, another review of this is coming. Blocker, catcher, 590 catcher, which, yeah, not the best, but it's okay. Blocker's fantastic. Russian set that we'll ignore. And then we have going on to my knee pads, which is another thing I have changed recently. So X4 Pros, not the Pro Plus. I wanted the slightly smaller shape to it than the Pro Plus, a bit bigger. I absolutely love these. I replaced the 1Xs, which I used forever for, because I bought 2 pairs of 1Xs. I had the original ones that I cut up and used for, which I'll show you. And then I had a second pair. The second pair always fell down. So I always landed on the cap and I couldn't get it to land properly up. You'll see this all the time, people. You're wearing your knee guards wrong if you land on the cap. The cap is to protect the knee. You're supposed to land underneath like this. So I couldn't land on them properly, so I bought these and replaced them, and I've been very happy with them ever since. And then we go down here and we see I have a massive, and Stay. And then we go down here and we have these pants, and these are my McKenney custom XPG2 Pro Elite pants, and these are now retired. If I filmed this 2 days ago, I'd say I'm still testing these. I'm done testing these. You'll see why in the review. So those are gonzo out of there. The bag I got is this awesome bag that my producer bought me. It's a brown bag, and it has a nice skate pocket over here, and it opens up like this. It's really short, or it's really short. It fits in car trunks perfectly, so I'm a huge fan of that, and it's really nice and really easy to use. And then we come over here, and we have, I gotta get rid of this chest, so if you're interested in this chest, let me know. It's barely used, so that one has to be sold. And then coming over here, this I was doing some testing on, and this is that CCM NHL chest, and you can see my knee pads that I cut up. There's the pieces because I was getting massive bruises on the top of this. So I tried to beef it with this, which kind of helped, but it doesn't really cover the inside, and the out, like up here, you still get it. So it didn't, I was still getting hit with it a lot, and it was really annoying. So that's why I've been trying to look for something else. And then some funky things here. This is a Bauer test printing pad for the 1Ss that stores would get. So this is kind of cool because it actually doesn't have anything in it, and it's not a whole pad. It's just like the face and showing the printing off. So I always thought that thing was kind of cool. So I kind of have this down here that stops pucks from kind of going where I don't want it to. These are the broken knee pads. They're not really broken, but like I said, land on that all the time, so I don't use these. These I use for whenever I do testing. I can just throw them on because it doesn't really matter. So that's why those are there. And then those pads are the ones I always wear for like sliding on here in terms of testing anything that's not a pad, just so I don't wreck pads, because this is a synthetic ice. It's not the best. And that Warrior pad I use all the time for player shooting. It's basically the level I want to sauce over, so that just kind of sits there not being used. I gotta sell that set too. That will come in the future. So massive mess that I'm always in the process of cleaning. Obviously the Brian's pads are, I'm done. I have to film the review for that, but I'm done testing those. Hyperlights are going to be used tonight, and those are in review process. And we come over here, you can see obviously my Sparks over here, which I use all the time. And then the wall of pads that constantly get rotated in. These ones, like I said, the ones I use basically the most right now are these Trues, those Hyperlights, and probably the Vons. I put these Trues on the other day just to remember how they felt, and I just want to use a different set. But generally speaking, I use these Trues, the Hyperlights, the most because I'm reviewing the Hyperlights, and the Vons for sliding purposes, and hopefully I'm going to be at the SLR3 stuff. Obviously the two Warrior sets over there. G6 is still kind of in the rotation, but not fully. And then the JRZ set right here, which I absolutely love the colors. And I don't think that they're going to be a staple on my wall somewhere and never go anywhere. So they're always going to come with me. And we'll ignore the Russian set right there. So that's about it for what's in the bag. As you can see, a lot of stuff has changed. There's more stuff coming for this season. I'm trying to buy at least 2 sets. Kind of have my eyes on them already. Can't order them yet though. And I have a pair of pants and a new chest probably coming. So I haven't gone there. And maybe a helmet in the future, but that's probably next year, probably longer for that one, because I'd have to go to probably Europe to get that. So probably won't go down that route yet. But that's what's in the bag, what I've been going through. Lots of gears kind of shuffled out of here recently. Like Optic 2 set's gone. The Genetic 4 set is gone for a while. My Ultrasonic set, well, it was a Hyperlight 2 pads. Ultrasonic gloves are gone. So kind of moving some stuff out. Yes, there's still a lot of stuff here, but some of this has to get moved out as well. So, and some of them are demos, like those optics. So those are leaving very shortly. But I figured I'd do this video hopefully really quickly and just kind of show off what's in the bag this year and what you'll see in the being used so far, at least for a few months. And then yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching the video. Hopefully it was kind of entertaining. If you have any questions, let me know below in the description. I'll try to answer them as best as possible. Thank you very much for watching, and take it easy. Thank you.
You're watching HockeyReviews.ca.